Hey guys, it's Chris, and HBO finally released a Game of Thrones official teaser trailer for the final season of Game of Thrones, and announced, by the way, the air date, which will be April the 14th. So this is very similar to the Long Walk teaser we got last year. This will not be in the actual show. It's more of a little scene shot to promote the season, as well as give us a little hint about what the season may be about. So anyway, let's dive right in. Game of Thrones Season 8, the first official teaser, The Crypts of Winterfell. Alright, so let's jump right in, and first we have Jon walking in the crypts of Winterfell, of course, and he walks right past his mother, who at this point he still doesn't know is his mother, and this immediately tells us it's about the RLJ revealed to him, since we as an audience already know. We see the feather falling off of Lyanna's hand as Jon passes, and remember, this is the same feather Robert put there in Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 1, Winter is Coming, and of course we saw it again in Season 5, when Sansa puts it back on her hand while talking to Littlefinger in the crypts about Rhaegar and Lyanna. It seems to me that this represents Lyanna trying to let the truth be known, as if the feather represents truth itself, and people keep having to put it back where it belongs. And as a matter of fact, in Egyptian mythology, a feather represents Mayat, the goddess of truth and order. And of course we see that in the trailer as well. Jon even seems to sense something and turns around, but certainly he wouldn't hear the feather fall and hit the ground, so it's almost like this statue is telling him something, and he turns around and reacts to it. And I do love that during this scene, we hear Lyanna's dialogue from the Tower of Joy.
You have to protect him.
Where she's asking Ned to promise her to protect Jon, her truthful son. And I do think because of this, he will eventually see that truth, and I do foresee him at some point in Game of Thrones Season 8 placing the feather in her hand as well, representing he now knows the truth that the feather represents. And then we see Sansa, and she's looking badass as they march through the crypts of Winterfell, and she's still with her southern hairstyle. We spoke about this in the live stream earlier, and it does seem to mirror Dany a little bit, and the little teaser we got from Game of Thrones Season 8 Episode 1, where she arrives at Winterfell. And this is the same southern hairstyle that was brought up back in an earlier season, ever since Sansa was in King's Landing. So that could represent something about being a southern queen perhaps in the end of this thing, who knows. But I do think it also connects Dany and Sansa, since they made their hair seemingly the same here, and that they will eventually get to know each other and realize how much they have been through, and they will certainly respect each other at some point, although at first there will be drama. Anyway, Sansa passes Catelyn's statue, and we hear the dialogue between Catelyn Stark and Talisa Stark, Robb's show-only wife, where she admits all this harm has come to her family, all because she could not love a motherless child, being Jon. So already this trailer is all about RLJ and the reveal to Jon that he is the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna, the Song of Ice and Fire. And then we see Arya come in the crypts as well as Catelyn's voice fades out, and this is going to be the first time in 8 years that we've seen Jon and Arya in the same room. Even though this is not going to be in the show, I think this is pretty damn cool to see them together as seemingly adults. Of course, after we see Arya, Jon does pass the statue of Ned, and he hears the line from Season 1, Episode 2, The King's Road, that he is a Stark. He may not have his name, but he has his blood. So every scene so far in this trailer is all about Jon Snow's true heritage. And I think it's great they chose to use these past characters that are telling Jon who and what he is. And of course, they all meet like they've had this little reunion, and to our surprise and to their surprise, they walk further in the crypts only to find their own statues that could indeed represent their own deaths. But remember, it's just a teaser, and it doesn't necessarily mean they all die, but certainly they will all die if they don't do the right thing, and I think the previous scenes are telling us that Jon's blood is the key to prevent this possible outcome. And then of course the cold winds blow, the icy mist that we saw in the previous little teaser, and obviously this represents the Night King and death coming for them in the crypts of Winterfell. And if you think that their statues represent their deaths, remember they also chose to turn away from those statues and draw their swords to fight whatever was coming for them. So if you think the statues represent death, you could also say that they turned away from those statues. So what's missing here? We seemingly have a little Stark reunion going on, but I think it's very interesting that we don't see Bran. Was this just for visual effect, since he would have to actually be pushed in his wheelchair? Or perhaps it's because, being the new three-eyed raven, that he really isn't a Stark anymore.
Bran.
I'm not really. Not anymore.
I won't read too much into this. I think this is just a teaser trailer, so I don't want to overthink it. But let me know in the comments what you think, why Bran wasn't present in this teaser. And then, of course, the cold mist freezes the feather, or the truth. And I thought this was a great little touch to use this feather we saw from the very first season, the very first episode, and of course again in season 5. And we see this feather freeze, and it's basically telling us that the Night King could keep the truth from being known, which is likely the key to his demise. So death creeps towards them and will succeed unless the truth is learned by Jon and of course acted upon. And that's it, we finally have a date, April 14th, the end begins. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. How excited were you to see an actual Game of Thrones teaser and all the Starks in the same place at the same time, except for, of course, as I mentioned, Bran Stark not being in the teaser itself, but this entire teaser was about the importance of Jon being the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna, the Song of Ice and Fire. Anyway, as usual, thank you for all the support, especially to you guys on Patreon, and a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers, D. Brown, Lala Gig, Hoonjive, Will Ray, Aaron Hadbig, Joey White, Mike Colton, Doc Holliday, Anastasia, Carol Brown, Goska, Craig Boone, Lisa Phillips, Faramir Sixskins, Alfred Boycemeyer, Lo Horton, Legal Jedi, and John Carey. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support, and to everyone on YouTube as well. And if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and a share, and be sure to subscribe to get everything, and click that notification bell twice so you're notified when I drop a new video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.